And welcome back to another episode of the Baseline Bums podcast. It's your host, Rob, aka B-Ball Archives. And once again, I got the bums in the house. AJ James, thanks for joining me today. All of this is brought to you by Love You Hard TV, and we're about to get into some bracket talk.
Bracket. Oh, man. This is my favorite time. We have our brackets up. You guys can't see my screen, but I am ready to go. I'm ready to do this. Let's talk about these upsets. Let's talk about how we're going to kick Rudy and Mike's ass in this competition. We sent over a challenge to in the building, and we are going to go head to head, and that's why we're here, to talk about this bracket and to come to consensus on who's going to win it all. And I can tell you, I think I have a good idea. James, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. And AJ, I think if you just look at your screen, I think I have a pretty good idea of how this show is going to go.
Yes. But before we jump into it, we got to because we are the Baseline Bums, we have to talk a little bit of Spurs, just a tiny bit. Played the Lakers last night in a loss, of course, because that's kind of how our season's going nowadays. But, you know, we got to see Jeremy Sochan getting a little scrap. So worth your time and effort. So, Rob, how do you feel about that game last night?
Yeah, honestly, not backing down to Jared Vanderbilt, that's pretty solid because he's a pretty large individual. So whenever you think about, you know, guys I would not want to see coming at me on a basketball court, yeah, Vanderbilt definitely in that category. And whenever I look at it, it's probably, you know, I would say every 2-3 games, you see Sochan getting in a scrap like this. He just wants to put his nose where it doesn't belong, and you know what? I kind of like it. We need some of that edge.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, and I could very well be, but I think that was his first career ejection.
Ooh.
Well, there you go.
If I'm correct, it'll probably be the first of many.
Well, at the same time, Rob, you know, you don't want to see Vanderbilt come after you, but me personally, I don't really want to see a guy with green hair come after me either.
It's pink now.
Oh, it's pink? See, I forgot. Whatever color it is this time.
It's cotton candy.
I just hope that he's getting some kind of like boxing lessons with Tim Duncan or something, because at some point he's going to piss someone off, and someone who's not into shoving is going to throw something, and we just got to be ready for that.
Yeah,
he's in the gym with Jesse James Leha.
Right. I mean, hopefully he can duck better than Jesse James. But at the same time, I think that he is scrappy, but there is going to be a tough guy, like an NBA bruiser, that's going to really, really kind of clean his clock whenever he steps out of line, you know, in a really, really serious moment further down the line. I could see that happening and him getting checked. But at the same time, I don't even think he'd care. I think that he just, you know, he'd take that punch on the face and then, you know, get right back up and want to scrap.
He'd wear that black eye as a badge of honor. And speaking of squaring up, I thought Steph Castle was going to square up on somebody when they took the rims off his car. Did y'all see that video?
Yeah, man.
That was fun.
That was cool. I thank God we won that game, because if we did that after a loss, I'd be so pissed. I'd be like, what are we doing, guys? Like, what's going on here? But we won. The season's pretty much in the toilet, so we'll just take any entertainment we can get. So that was our Spurs talk for today. Anything else to add, guys?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, honestly, just to piggyback on the Steph Castle no wheels situation, I love to see that rookie hazing is still alive. Like, even
I love
if your
De'Aaron
rookie,
Fox's quote.
Oh yeah, I mean, even if your rookie is good, like in really good too, and has a lot of promise, like you still gotta haze him a little bit, like just a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Like
Welcome to the
a
team.
hazy IPA.
Right. There you go. But yeah, as AJ was saying, yeah, that's about it for the Spurs talk. There's not a lot of really relevant information we need to be getting at from there, but we do have a lot of madness of the March variety.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, brother. But one thing I think we need to start off with is we're going head to head within the building. And what are the stakes here? What were Mike and Rudy saying? What are the stakes here?
I think ours will be medium rare, and theirs
Okay, so the
no.
steaks are going to be steaks. There we
We
go.
don't have any steaks yet, but I believe we might be on the pod this Friday, so we might be talking a little bit about that. I was thinking something simple, maybe like a bottle of hooch or tequilas or something to that effect, or maybe we make it a little bit more entertaining and do like a dinner or a lunch. I'm leaving it up to you guys, but I'm cool with just calling us winners.
Yeah, some
Yeah,
some
as
bragging
long as-
rights.
As long as I don't have to do anything too embarrassing, then I'm good with it.
Yeah, you're. We won't make you streak naked that far.
Yeah, we won't make
I
you
went through
actually
pledge.
eat food.
I was a pledge once. I've already been hazed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but if maybe like just something from the good old sponsor of Texas Cheer Liquor might be a nice little and one to it too. So we can figure something
Maybe
out.
one of those Delta 9s. Maybe the loser has to shotgun one of them.
No, I had one of those over the weekend, and I went, nope, not doing that again.
Yeah, yeah. We'll find the appropriate thing whenever it makes sense. But yeah, we got a lot of bracket to get to, guys. We have.
Jump into it.
Yeah, I was about to say, let's just dive on in the South.
South.
Let's
Hard
start
Y'all
out.
think
off
there's? Do y'all think there's anything worth talking about tonight and tomorrow before we get
No.
to the bracket proper?
No, I think we just dive on into the meat and potatoes.
Honestly,
All right.
I was talking to Rob about this earlier, and I don't understand how the play-in you can have two teams going for an 11 spot. I think if you're in the play-in, you should get 16s automatic. I don't understand this why they have an 11.
I disagree. I think if you're looking at Alabama State, St. Francis, American, and Mount St. Mary's, they all won their conference tournaments. Why should they have to play their way into the tournament? They
fair.
should be the ones that get in automatically and have the mediocre Texases and North Carolinas of the world prove that they belong in the field.
It's absolutely mind-boggling how those teams and a 15 loss team like Texas even gets in.
Oklahoma was 6-12 in the SEC. 6-12.
Yeah, and the SEC shouldn't have 14
They're a
teams.
9 seed. They're a 9 seed. Louisville was 18-2 in the ACC, and they are an 8 seed.
Let's go ahead and jump into it and knock out all the SEC's team early,
Right.
All right. So
except for the first matchup.
Yeah,
Right.
starting at the top.
I was about to say, yeah, Auburn, yeah.
I'll take the
Yeah.
Charles Barkley's.
Yeah, we'll take the Auburns. But how are we feeling about Louisville, Creighton?
I got Louisville. I'm going to be honest. I don't know a single player on either of these teams now that Pop Isaacs is out.
Yeah, he left early. I actually have Creighton winning this game.
I really don't. I don't have a huge skin in this game, but I was actually leaning towards Creighton as well. James, is there something you're feeling about Louisville?
They just got hot and went to the ACC final. I just think that there's some good vibes around that program coming back to prominence for the first time after some really bad down years. So I think that there's just some good vibes that will carry them through an 8-9 toss-up.
Well, I Creighton also made it to the Big East final, but problem is they went up against St. John, so that
Right.
didn't really go too well. But they also, they're also a little short, so I understand James's point with Louisville, but I just feel that Creighton was second in the Big East all year, and I feel that means a lot.
Creighton has a pretty skilled 7-footer, Ryan Kalkbrenner.
Yeah.
So he's kind of the player to watch if you're into maybe the NBA aspect of things, because I think he's going to be a guy that gets a summer league look. And it'll be interesting to see if Louisville can match up with that, because 7-footers are not always common at the college level.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So are we going 2-1 Creighton, or are we going to flip-flop? Rob, what are you thinking?
I'm still leaning towards Creighton. I think, yeah, when you have talented bigs, that makes sense. Are we
Yeah.
cool with going Creighton?
I'm cool with going Creighton, Cretan, as my wife would call it.
I mean, either way, they're getting clapped next round against Auburn. But
Right.
let's keep going down. Let's keep going down the list. This was actually one of my potential upsets. I had looked at some various notes. Obviously, I hadn't watched UCSD play a lot of basketball, but they're a 30-win team. They'd won 15 straight, and they forced a lot of turnovers. And Michigan is kind of known to cough it up a little bit. And I know Michigan has two really skilled 7-footers that and it's usually when you have size and that kind of touch around the basket, you usually end up doing really well in the tournament. So, yeah, it's hard for me to see Michigan going down, but at the same time, I feel like, oh man, this could be an upset.
Yeah, 12-5 happens all the time.
I actually pulled the trigger on my bracket. I have UC San Diego. I just think it's hard for me, no matter what conference a team comes from, to pick against a 30-win team.
It's a good rule of
Exactly.
thumb.
Yeah, damn, and it's like Michigan, Michigan's not bad. I feel like they are kind of getting disrespected at that 5th seed. There was a lot of people that were saying Michigan was a top 10 team, like
I think
sneaking
they're
in that
building.
9th and 10th.
They're built. They clearly hired the right coach, but this is his first year there, and I just think they're a little ways away. And I think UC San Diego just plays, like you said, Rob. They play a tough style to plan for in a tournament setting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with UC San Diego as well.
I think I'm going. I think we're all going to smash that upset. I think, yeah, I like
Good.
that.
I like that too.
Really, honestly, we came together as a podcast and just were like, you know what, upset.
Yeah.
Unity.
Well, the next is A&M versus Yale. I mean Yale. So
I think this is another sneaky upset game.
I do too. I got Yale winning this one.
I debated. I stuck with A&M just because I think A&M is legit, and I think they're gonna play enough defense to stifle Yale's shooting.
Yeah, I'm as much as I don't like A&M, I'm going with A&M just because they have a couple of really good wins recently. They beat Auburn not too long ago, and Auburn's lost 3 of their last 4. I know they're kind of haven't looked that good as of late, but at the same time, one of those losses to A&M. So it's I got to look at that as one of the most impressive wins I've seen recently. So yeah, I think I got to take the Aggies, unfortunately.
Well, if I can offer any kind of rebuttal, A&M lost to UT in the SEC tournament, and it wasn't even a good loss. It was a bad loss. Yale just won the Ivy League tournament.
First
And-
Ivy League tournament.
What?
First Ivy League tournament.
Yeah, well, they got it. So they won.
Yeah.
Also, I do have a stat here, and it is Yale ranks tied for 7th in 3-point percentage and top 30 in assists. I feel in an NCAA tournament, that is a huge stat. And guys that love to do math, Yale likes to do math. A&M does not. So that's why I feel Yale is going to pull off an upset, and we're going to have a 13-12 in the next round. But if you guys want to override, I'm totally cool with that.
It's certainly. I think I'm going to stick with A&M, but it wouldn't be the first time the Ivy League has thrown a wrench in everybody's bracket.
Yeah, that's very true. Unfortunately, I'm going to stick with A&M as well, but I think that Yale could make some noise in that first round.
I got one more for you guys. This group beat Auburn's team last year. So just
It's true. It's
pointing
true.
that out. Pointing that
And
out.
they have a history of tournament experience and wins. That Yale beat Baylor back a few years ago, which gave us a great Torian Prince press conference. If y'all have any time, you should Google that, where he breaks down what a rebound is. So yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
wouldn't
get the ball
shock me.
off.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me, but I'm with
Okay.
you, Rob.
Cool.
All right, we're moving forward with A&M, and we're moving on to Ole Miss, San Diego State, or UNC.
I got Ole Miss.
Yeah, Ole Miss. It has to be Ole Miss. Chris Beard. Chris Beard's a great coach. I can't deny that. Also, what's his face is on the bench next to him again.
Yeah, Mark Adams.
Mark Adams, thank you. So I can't really deny that he's a great tournament coach. So got to go Chris Beard on that.
And they've got some good wins lately too. They I can't remember who they took down a couple of weeks ago at home, but they took. I think it might have been Alabama.
I think it was
They
Bama.
Yeah.
So they've got some good wins lately, and I saw Chris Beard say that this team is reminding him of that 2019 Tech team.
Gross.
So
Gross.
if he's confident,
Then we know how to beat him.
Yeah, I don't like that statement at all. All right, moving forward, Iowa State, Lipscomb.
I pulled the trigger on an upset here.
Wow.
Did you, James?
Iowa State, oh God, and I didn't do a whole lot of show prep work. Has been crazy. Iowa State has a huge injury that they are dealing with, and you know, after February, they weren't anything to really write home about.
Okay.
That's a good point.
That seems to me like I don't know. I don't know if I can go as far as to say I think Lipscomb is going to be able to just outsize a team like Iowa State, but at the same time, dealing with injuries, that's the name of the game. There's several teams on here that, because of injuries, their fortune is up in the air, and Iowa State's definitely one of them. Man, I don't know if I could. I think it'll be a single digit game, but I'm still going Iowa State.
Yeah, I'm going Iowa State too, James.
Yeah, this was my biggest reach in the entire field.
Yeah, we'll get it out of the way early.
Oh, there's more. There's more. Trust me.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me.
Well,
The Bison aren't done.
we have two more matchups. Marquette, New Mexico. Now, I am not up to speed on my New Mexico basketball as of late, but
Let me tell you about the Lobos. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, I'm not. I haven't watched any New Mexico basketball. I've watched a couple Marquette games, and
Same.
I like what I see from Marquette. I think I'm gonna go with Marquette.
James?
I picked New Mexico just because Marquette was really good at the start of the year. I think they spent some time in the top 10 and finishing at 23-10 in a less than stellar Big East. I just think New Mexico, coming from a sneaky deep Mountain West, can take that game, and a 10-7 is just as much of a toss-up as an 8-9. So I got the Lobos, and whatever future Red Raider comes from that team to lead them to victory.
I will take New Mexico on that one. I just like, for some reason, I like the 10-7 matchups. They've always been good to me in the past. 10-7 seems to be one of those, just like you said, James, a toss-up. So I'll take New Mexico. Cool place to go visit, but not live.
Right. All right. Well, we got New Mexico advancing in that game. Moving on to Michigan State versus Bryant.
Sparty.
Yeah, let's smash that Tom Izzo right now. All right, and let's move on down to the West.
West Side.
West Side. All right, and we're looking at
We don't have a play-in on our side. That's interesting.
Yeah, there are two sides with play-ins and
No, we got it.
Oh, three sides.
We got it filled out.
Yep.
Oh, that's rare.
Well, I think we all know who's going to knock out the 116. We got Florida versus Norfolk State.
Yeah, I don't see any history here.
Yeah, Florida.
Florida's pretty good. UConn OU. This might go fast.
I got UConn.
I got UConn.
I don't trust OU.
Yeah, I got UConn. I mean, they know what the tournament's about. I don't think that they're anywhere near three-peating, but at the same time, it's they know how to win a game. They're going to at least get one.
Yep.
Yeah, and this could be Porter Moser coaching for his job at OU if they lose this game.
They probably will.
So
All right. So now this one I'm kind of gonna let this one be a toss up because Memphis versus Colorado State. Rob, who you going? You got?
So I'm going Colorado State. And I think it's because Memphis is a little bit banged up. I haven't watched too many Memphis games, but I know that there's been a lot of reports about Tyrese Hunter. He's one of their top shooters, and he's literally in a walking boot. So I don't know how you're gonna exist in this kind of environment when you have your main floor spacer on the sideline. And I really think that this Colorado State team is I think that they're a little bit underrated. I don't think that a lot of people felt like they should have been a 12 seed. I think that they could have easily been 11, maybe a 10. So I think that this is a good matchup for them.
one of the hottest teams in the country and winners of the Mountain West tournament. I went Memphis, and I'm going to be honest, the only reason I went Memphis is because I saw a Colorado State fan on Twitter worrying about Memphis's athleticism. And I think athleticism in a tournament can be a bit of a wild card. So I went with Penny and crew.
I went with Becky Hammond's alma mater in Colorado State. So
I think you guys are picking one of the more common upsets here. I think a lot of people are on Colorado State.
well,
Absolutely.
was it Neek Clifford? Is that his name?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Dude's
it's
a
Neek something.
Stud.
Yeah.
So
Well,
That's
and
who I went.
it's one of the rare cases where actually the lower seeded team is the betting favorite in Vegas. So I think that when we look at this kind of pick, I think it's going to be like you said, James, very very common. So I don't think what we're doing is necessarily an upset.
I haven't trusted Penny Hardaway since '94. So Maryland Grand Canyon.
I think this is another common upset. I did not fall for that, though. I went with Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with Maryland as well.
The best offense in the entire NCAA, the most scoring points. Yeah, we're going Maryland, James.
For sure.
No, like I said, I just
Teased
think
me
a lot
with
of
that
people-
one. I was like, no.
A lot of people see 13-4 as something that they can pick, and Grand Canyon did win the WAC. So, I mean,
That's pretty whack, though.
Hey, let's go.
All right.
we're getting into our favorite part now.
Yeah. Missouri Drake.
Okay, so I think I'm going to go Drake on this one. They're one of the hottest teams. They actually hold opposing opponents to the lowest points per game in the nation. So I think that they have a really stingy defense, and I think that they could just surprise a team like Mizzou. And they're like we were just saying about Colorado State. Drake is one of the hotter teams right now. They're playing very well.
I just do not trust any SEC teams outside of Auburn and Florida. Really, there might be another one in there. I'm not thinking of Alabama, I guess, but I don't trust Mizzou. I think Drake is a great team. I think that would be a really fun matchup. But give me Drake.
I too went with Drizzy, and a lot like the Michigan UC San Diego game, it's hard to pick against a 30-win team, and Missouri was 0-18 in the SEC last year, and they got through the season with 22 wins. And I think they are coming, just like Michigan. They're on the right path, but not today.
Sure. Yeah. Also, did y'all see that tweet? It was like Drake made the tournament and Lamar didn't. Therefore, Drake wins the rap battle.
I'm just waiting to see how much Drake bets on this game.
That's going to be so silly.
He's on the Kentucky side, the motherfucker. Anyway, all right. My favorite matchup of the entire first round. I don't know about you guys.
All of
we
our
got
favorite matchups.
Texas Tech versus some school in North Carolina. Who you got?
We got Tech winning that.
We got Tech.
We got Tech.
But let's talk just a little bit, just to inform the people who are not familiar with Texas Tech, who decided to stop watching the Big 12 because UT decided to take their happy ass over there. So Texas Tech is a really, really good basketball team. We also are a very deep basketball team If we need to, we can go 8-10 deep if we really need to. We do have two of our best players that are hurt currently in D5, Darren Williams and Chance. Was it McLennan? Was that how you say his name?
McMillan.
McMillan. Thank you. Sorry. So we do have those two guys, but they're supposed to be playing. Grant McCaslin said, to what extent, I don't know, but they will be playing. I say that.
I expect them to be fully.
I expect them to be fine. But also, we've had these injuries kind of lingering throughout the entire year, and this has just made our other bench players step up to the plate more than anyone's expectations. Like Chris Anderson's fantastic. Kevin Overton started hitting his shots last game. We still got JT Toppin, who is a All-American second team, should be first team, Big 12 player of the year, Big 12 newcomer of the year. When you have a tournament like this, you need a guy that can just go get you a bucket and possibly drop 30 on you at any given moment. And that's JT Toppin. So, to everyone out there, you should probably ride Texas Tech as long as you can, because of what I just said. And also, we have a really good defense too. So
no, this is not the Chris Beard Red Raiders that you might have remembered 5 years ago. This is an offense first team, and that's not that they can't play defense, but they are fourth in Ken Palm's efficiency ranking. So they've been not only very good, but very good all season, and they can shoot the ball. However, I don't want to disrespect UNC Wilmington's tournament history. They have won a first-round game, and they have not lost any games in the first round by more than 10 points. This is a team that is not afraid of the spotlight and will not be afraid of the name in front of the jersey. And while I pick Tech to win this game comfortably, there could be some scary moments that we haven't typically seen in the first round.
Right. I honestly, and I'm a little hesitant to believe that both Williams and McMillan are going to be 100% ready to go, especially when I hear things like walking boots just a couple of days before a game. So like it really leads me to believe that we may not have one of our best floor spacers, our best shooter, which is a guy that gives JT Toppin some additional space to work within the paint because the defense has to key in on him. And so I hope that, you know, for this first game, we can just kind of weather the storm while a couple of our guys, you know, maybe rest a little bit. They're not playing as many big minutes because, you know, we're going to run into, you know, St. John's sooner rather than later. And that's going to be a scary situation if we're not fully healthy.
Agreed.
Yeah. And this isn't the first time that D5 has been in a walking boot this year. So I think, you know, they're used to it. And I do think that he will be serviceable on Thursday night. So, yeah, I got the Red Raiders, and I got them pulling away late.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we got the best player. We're closing that game out.
Yep.
All right, moving on to Kansas versus Arkansas.
Honestly, I have no idea what to do with this game.
I don't either.
Kansas because Big 12, but
yeah, that's the only thing I got. Like I said, I don't trust the SEC. Arkansas is fine, I guess. But
I don't trust John Calipari.
Yeah, and also Kansas is Kansas. What's his face has been. Well, damn it! Why am I blanking on names today?
Bill Self.
Bill Self.
Yeah.
Thank you, dude. Just he's a legend. He's a tournament god. He's gonna draw up something. He's gonna make this team click. I mean, yeah, they're a 7 seed, but it wouldn't surprise me if they win a couple games and, you know, potentially upset in the next round. But you know, still remains to be seen. I have to go with Kansas.
Yeah, I'm going with Kansas as well. Yep. All right, so moving on to St. John's and Omaha. This is Omaha's first time in the tournament, and yeah, they're really up against it with St. John's. Yeah,
I'm going to be honest. I think St. John's is going to kick them like the trash cans that Omaha's been kicking in the locker room. I think Omaha can score a little bit, but I don't think they can. I don't think they've seen anything on the same planet as the physicality that St. John's brings.
Dude,
No.
that defense is beyond stingy. Like they have a lot of guys that can defend three positions, and that is swarming.
I have my concerns about them, but not here.
What color suit is Rick Pitino going to wear? Game 1. All white?
Yeah, all white.
Dude, yeah, that might be like a Final Four type thing. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll make a bet. Maybe I'll clip this and then we'll do we'll do a poll.
His hair will be slicked back. That's all we
Yeah.
can know for sure.
Yeah, according to Action Bronson. Okay, so yeah, that rounds out the first round in the West. Let's go back up to the East. Guys, how are we feeling about Duke right now?
Fine. I think, Cooper Flag, we'll see kind of what extent that ankle injury is. It is concerning that he's not going to play in that first matchup, but, I think Duke's deep, so give me Duke.
Yeah, same. I'm not concerned with American or Mount St. Mary's.
No, not even a little
Dookie
bit.
in the booth.
Yeah, because even without Cooper Flag, you still have three guys that are projected first round picks. It's like, what are we talking about here?
Is that game Thursday or Friday?
That game
Friday.
is Friday. Yes, Friday.
So
1:50.
we're looking at a potential second round game on Sunday, which would give Cooper Flag a little over a week to recover. That was a pretty bad ankle injury, so we'll see.
Right, and the thing for me is they haven't really specified whether it's like a lower ankle or high ankle. Because if that's a high ankle, you need a few weeks. Like you really can't walk on it a lot if you're really trying to rehab it.
Yeah,
so,
did he extend the ligaments or did he tear them? Like it looked bad. Like it looked really bad. And those kind of falls you don't just hop up, ice it, and call it a day.
right. And if he's only at 60% out there, I think that's cool for the first couple rounds, but you're really going to run into some trouble when you run up against maybe like an Alabama or a team that has a lot of offense that you're going to have to match.
Yep.
And speaking of offense, this region is loaded with it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, so moving on, Mississippi Baylor. What are we thinking here?
I'll take Baylor. Give me the Bears.
I took Mississippi State, but honestly, I don't really know a thing about them. The only Big 12 team I would pick against out of spite is Baylor, so fuck Baylor.
Honestly, I think it's going to be a really close game, but VJ Edgecombe is going to be the best player on the court.
Yeah.
And I think that whenever you just have the best player, you have a better chance of closing out a close game, and he's about as sure a bucket as you can get in college basketball right now. So I think I'm going Baylor for the win on this one.
Yeah, it's hard not to trust Scott Drew.
Yeah.
Right.
So
To a certain extent.
I see where y'all are coming from. And actually, now that I look at my bracket, this is the one game I somehow left blank, which is what you get for filling out a bracket at 10:30 at night.
There you go. All right, and so moving on to Oregon Liberty.
Liberty.
I think this could be one of the most fun games of the first round. I have Oregon winning, but I think it's going to be high scoring and freewheeling.
This one for me might be one of my biggest reaches, and I do have Liberty beating Oregon.
Interesting.
With Jerry Falwell Jr. watching from the cuck chair.
Honestly, I can't go against my original gut feeling, which was Oregon. I got to go Oregon with James.
And they've got another one of these coaches. You know, college basketball is about the coaches, and Dana Altman has success in March. He did it at Creighton. He's done it at Oregon. So, I mean, it's hard to go against a guy like that.
How do we feel about Arizona Akron?
Give me Zona.
This is a popular upset pick that I'm seeing. I think a lot of people are picking Akron because they score the ball so well.
As long as Caleb Love just looks at the other team and sees a double T, he's going to have 30 points.
I think it's the size of Arizona that's going to come in and win this game for them. I think Akron starts 3 players between 5'11 and 6'2". And Arizona's got premium size.
I just think Caleb Love is on one of those tears that you see in a tournament that he just can't be stopped and everything is going into the ocean. That's the kind of guy that it looks like he's started to become, and if they can ride Caleb Love, then
And they figured some things out in the Big 12 tournament. You know, they made a run to the finals of the tournament, lost a close game to a really good Houston team. I like Arizona getting through this one. Surviving maybe a scare, but yeah.
Right. Same. I got Arizona winning a close one. All right. Yeah. All right. Shaping up nice over here in the East. So we got BYU versus VCU.
the Super Soakers.
Right.
Give me BYU. I think their shooting is just really, really good, and if you can put up 98 points in a college game, you're a good team.
Yeah, this is a styles clash game because BYU likes to score and VCU likes to stop people from scoring. I got BYU in a close one.
Man, I was feeling VCU on this one, guys. They're 18-2 over their last 20, and in that stretch, they've led the country in effective field goal percentage. They find ways to get smart shots. I think that this is a clear upset that I think it's going to at least be a close game. But yeah,
BYU is also one of the hottest teams in the country too. So this is just I think one of the more interesting games in the bracket.
It's gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be fun to turn on these games and have it all on at once and seeing how they all.
So Rob,
end.
are you going with VCU in this one?
I was picking VCU on this one.
All right.
But you both said BYU.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit of the Big 12 homerism, but I got the Stormin' Mormons.
Yeah. You got the Super Soakers, as AJ said.
Nick Moe, my favorite.
All right, we got Wisconsin, Montana. We got the Battle of the North over here. I'm going to Wisconsin. I'm going those big boys.
I got
of
Wisconsin. I got
Wisconsin. All right, we got St. Mary's, Vanderbilt up next.
Got Patty Mills.
St. Mary's, yeah. I think this is an underrated team.
I do too.
I was feeling the same way. St. Mary's. All right, we're rolling here.
Rolling.
Alabama, Robert Morris.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. I saw someone pick Robert Morris, and I was like, you have to think you know something.
Well, see, I'm going with Robert Morris only because most of my name is in that.
I saw someone post a mugshot of a guy named Robert Morris and be like, see, Bama got a free win. This is bullshit.
Oh, my goodness. All right. So, yeah, we are completely done with the first round. And, let's keep trucking along.
We got one more region, Rob.
Midwest.
Yeah. Oops, I completely skipped over the Midwest like most people in the country. All right, we got Houston.
Flyover states. Here we go. Yeah, give me Houston.
Yeah,
Houston.
We're going Houston. This was an interesting matchup to me. Gonzaga, Georgia.
I like the Bulldogs.
I went with Georgia too. I think this is a down year for Gonzaga.
They're both Bulldogs, AJ.
What?
I said I like the Bulldogs.
I said I went with Georgia. Nice. Anyway.
No, I went with Gonzaga.
I do think this is a down year for Gonzaga, though. I don't think they have the same squad that they've had in years past. They just don't seem to. I don't know. They haven't made any noise, I guess. And Georgia's in the SEC, and that's one of my other teams that I picked. So Georgia it is.
Right. I mean, I don't know if I've watched a lot of Gonzaga play, but I've watched a couple of Georgia games, and I thought that they were pretty decent. So like I gotta lean towards what I've seen, and I think this will be the first year in at least a few years that Gonzaga won't have made the Sweet 16. So if we're projecting things correctly,
9 Sweet 16s in a row.
It was 9. Okay, I was like, it's at least like 6 or 7, but 9. That's crazy. And I think this could be the
wild.
year that snaps.
Yeah, if not in this first round, then they got their work cut out for them in the second round.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
I
So we
think this
got
next little segment is where it gets really fun.
Oh yeah, we got Clemson McNeese.
Gimme McNeese.
I pulled the trigger on the Cowboys as well.
Clemson's playing good basketball though.
They are. They are playing good basketball.
But they're no
but,
McNeese.
But McNeese has been playing good basketball for a couple of years now. I love the vibes with their celebrity manager. If y'all haven't seen them take the court, it's pretty fun.
It's viral, of course. Yeah.
And
okay.
they play good
we're
ball.
going McNeese. We're going McNeese. All right. We're smashing that McNeese button. All right. We got Purdue High Point.
Dude, I have Purdue, but after last year, I just do not trust Purdue in any kind of NCAA tournament.
I never do. I actually have High Point. AJ, you mentioned having a 12 and a 13 play in the second round earlier with the UC San Diego and Yale game, but I got it here.
Yeah. That's
Rob?
bold. That's bold of you, but I gotta go Purdue. I'm not really big on the Boilermakers either, but it's still. I feel like if you did enough to get a 4 seed, I gotta trust that you're able to get a win against a team like High Point. And I'm not shitting on High Point, but I don't really think Purdue's injured, are they? I haven't really followed them too much, to be brutally honest.
No,
I don't think they're injured. I think there's going to be a high scoring game, and I think this could just be one of those ones that gets a little kooky.
Yeah, it for me I like to at least look at what happened last year, and Purdue as a 1 seed getting knocked out by a 16 seed, and
Was
you
that
keep your
last
head-
year?
That was last year. It was Edie's senior year, so you do that and you keep your head coach. I got to think that you're probably something. Yeah, there's some kind of chink in your armor.
Right. But
Yeah.
can High Point expose that? I don't know. That remains to be seen. I do
Yeah.
think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, they can shoot the ball. Let's see if they
Yeah,
can
they're
stop
one of the better
anyone, though.
shooting teams in the country. So, I don't think Purdue has another 7-footer in the pipeline like they've had the past few years. So yeah, it should be a fun one.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got Purdue advancing out of that one. We got Illinois playing Texas or Xavier.
Give me Illinois.
Give me the Illini.
Yep,
Rodney-
fighting Illini.
Rodney Terry is going to get fired as soon as Texas loses.
And I'm not just saying that because my father-in-law went to Illinois.
Well, there we go.
Still good reason.
Yeah.
All right, we got Kentucky Troy up next.
I got Kentucky.
I almost thought about picking Troy. I don't really know why, but I picked Kentucky in the end.
Yeah, I'm going Kentucky.
Fried
Yeah.
chicken.
Yep, good old KFC on that one. We got UCLA and Utah State.
Be honest with you guys, I don't know dick about these two teams.
Give me Utah State.
I don't know a damn thing about either of these teams either, but you know what? I liked the way James said Utah State, so let's go Utah State.
Yeah, when James says things confident like that, gotta listen.
Let's do it.
Listen,
Thanks,
I
James.
have no real logic or reason behind
Let's go
it.
ahead.
But I heard some people say that Utah State wouldn't even really be an upset. And shout out the Mountain West. That's consistently a pretty deep and fun conference to watch.
Awesome.
So.
So when UCLA beats Utah, we can clip this and just point and laugh at James.
Point and laugh at me and call me a hypocrite because I was the one that dunked on college basketball a couple of months ago, and yet here I am.
And here we are talking about it, getting excited about it. Yeah, absolutely. And then the last matchup in the first round, we got Tennessee Wofford.
I do not trust Rick Barnes in March, but I will take Tennessee in this matchup.
I got Tennessee, although I do want to see those granny-style free throws from that kid from Wofford.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. That's the first round, everybody. Let's keep it moving. We got Auburn Creighton up here back in the South. So how are we
Give me
feeling
Auburn.
about this?
Give me Auburn.
Yep, we're going Auburn. All right, we got UC San Diego versus A&M.
As much as I hate it, give me A&M.
Yeah,
I,
A&M.
yeah.
I think A&M does take this, unfortunately. All right, we're cruising along, guys. Ole Miss, Iowa State.
Give me Ole Miss.
Give me Ole Miss because Iowa State's health problems. In full disclosure, I picked Lipscomb actually to come out and go to the Sweet 16 on my bracket. But
Oh wow. Well then, you know what? I think Ole Miss is making a lot of sense here. Let's smash that Ole Miss button over Iowa State. All right, we got New Mexico and Michigan State.
Sparty.
Sparty.
Yeah, let's go with the Izzo. All right.
H to the
Moving
Izzo.
yeah. Moving down to the west. Florida Yukon.
Florida.
Yeah, the streak ends here. Give me the Gators.
Yeah, Florida. All right, we got Colorado State, Maryland.
This one I went back and forth on, and I just keep going back to Maryland's offense, and I have Maryland going on to face Florida.
Yeah, I agree.
Man, I was kind of leaning Colorado State on that one. I was wanting to see them win a couple games, but at the same time, I'm not going to argue with that Maryland offense.
Yeah, I just think Maryland's smoking.
Yeah. All right. So we're moving on to Texas Tech versus Drake.
Give me the Red Raiders
Red Raiders in a close one.
Yeah.
in a blowout.
Give me Red Raiders by 35. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, every game.
All right. We got Kansas and St. John's.
James?
I picked the Johnnies. I just think Kansas has been faltering too much down the stretch.
I agree.
Yep. Johnny's. Yep. Johnny Dame. All right. We got Duke and Baylor back up in the East.
Give me Duke.
Duke, but this could get a little hairy if Cooper Flagg isn't playing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Or if he's very limited too.
That's very true. I mean, that's a team led by a bunch of freshmen, so it's hard to lean on experience when you don't have it.
Because Rob, to your point earlier about Duke, they probably still have 2 or 3 other first-round picks, but in a potential game against Baylor, wouldn't it be fair to say if Cooper Flagg is either limited or out, Baylor has the best player?
Yes, VJ Edgecombe definitely the best player. Khan is not super far behind in terms of how they produce at this level, but I agree. Yeah, Edgecombe definitely the most sure bucket. But yeah, we got Duke winning that one. Oregon, Arizona. This one was a very interesting matchup to me.
Give me Zona in the Pac-12 zombie matchup.
Nice. Yeah, give me Sean Elliott's alma mater, please.
Yeah, I think I'm going Wildcats as well.
Wildcats, here we go.
Yep. BYU, Wisconsin.
I got BYU on this one.
I got BYU. I'm really bullish on BYU.
I am too.
I mean, they're going to be even better next year.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, a lot better. But yeah, that's honestly a good pick. I was slightly leaning towards Wisconsin, but I was kind of thinking it was going to be a close game. So if we're going BYU, I don't really hate it. All right, we're smashing the button on the Mormons. We got St. Mary's in Alabama.
Roll Tide.
I went with St. Mary's here.
Oh.
I think
What
Alabama.
do you know that I don't know?
I think Alabama has not played their best basketball the last few weeks, and I think St. Mary's in a one and done can outshoot anybody, and Bama included. I don't trust Nate Oates that much either. So
Yeah, that sounds nice, but I got to Roll Tide on this one. Roll
fair
Tide.
enough. I don't give a piss about nothing, but Roll Tide.
He was a virgin to his 27. Now look at him, Roll Tide.
I remember
my
that
goodness.
commercial. So Houston and Georgia.
Give me Screwston University.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to
Houston.
take DJ Screw on this one.
Yep.
All right, and we've got McNeese Purdue.
Give me McNeese.
McNeese, yeah. They're my Cinderella.
Guys, god
Dude,
damn.
I just do not trust Purdue. Like, you can't be a number 1 seed and lose to a 16 and then come out the next year and be like, we fixed all of our problems. I mean, you can, because we had the transfer portal and stuff now, but I just
Not
that
to
was
mention,
such a bad loss. I can't get the taste out of my mouth.
Virginia did that, lost to a 16, and then went and won the national title the next year.
We're not going to talk about that title.
But yeah, no, I have McNeese too. I think not only do they have the talent, but they have the coaching as well.
They got the virality. All right, McNeese, you're moving on. Wow. Okay. Illinois versus Kentucky.
I got Illinois.
I got Illinois as well.
Guys, okay.
Well, tell me about Kentucky.
No, I don't want to tell you about Kentucky.
I honestly just wrote Illinois. Kentucky could win this game very easily, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like Kentucky has been, I think they're a little overrated at that 3 seed, but I think offensively and defensively they've been chilling within the top 25 in the nation pretty consistently. So I think that they're pretty balanced. I mean, they don't wow me in one area in particular, but I just think that they don't have really any key deficiencies.
I think Illinois will have the best player on the floor, though.
That's true. That's true.
So,
As long as they don't retire his jersey.
Yeah. All right, we're going Illinois, and then we got Utah State and Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah, I'll do Tennessee as well.
Yeah, I'm going to volunteer that.
You could say they reached the summit of coaching.
I'll give you a pat on the back for that one. All right, we got Auburn A&M back up in the South.
Auburn.
War Eagle.
Yeah,
I
burn.
don't know what that means, but say it.
Yeah. I don't know what it means, but I love it. All right,
Precisely.
and then we're moving on to Ole Miss versus Michigan State.
H to the Izzo.
Yep, I'll take the Izzos.
Yeah, I'll take the Izzos as well. All right. We're starting to shape things up here a little bit. We got Florida, Maryland.
Go Gators.
I took Florida in this one.
Yeah, I'm going Florida as well. That's just they're playing too well right now.
I think, though, I agree with you, Rob, but I think if you look at all the 1 seeds, Florida got by far the toughest draw, having to
Right.
go potentially through in 3 straight games, UConn, Maryland, and Tech.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, that's not going to be an easy out, but Florida's really deep and they play really good defense. So, yeah, I'll do Florida. But really, what we're here for is the next round.
We got
Right.
Tech. We got Texas Tech versus St. John's.
The red team will win.
Yeah, give me Tech in a 42-point win. No, give me Tech. I think I got Tech winning this one.
I do too, and actually, to AJ's joke, I think this could be a sneaky blowout spot.
I mean, if we're healthy, I think that we can win. But man, I think it's going to be a really, really close game, no matter what. I think that I got Tech winning, but I don't see how it's not a close game.
I think
if we're making buckets, like if we're making 3-pointers and they're trying to stop the no middle and all that stuff, then I think that just lines it up.
St. John's has won a ton of close games, and they are a straight out bad offensive team. For as great as their defense is, if someone can score on them, they will be in trouble. And I think Tech is that team that will be able to score on them.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think I was looking up St. John's is like they shoot a little over 30% from beyond the arc as a
Yeah, they're
team.
one of the worst shooting teams in the country.
Right. Terrible. But like they have guys that can guard two or three positions all over the place. So it's like,
Right.
yeah, it's really, really hard whenever they got like a couple of guys that are their pro comp is Bam Adebayo. That's always tough. But at the same time, what I am interested in is if we are fully healthy, I think we take a team like St. John's on and win a close game. So, Red Raiders, let's go.
Yeah. Wreck 'em.
Yep, wreck them. All right, and moving right along, we got Duke in Arizona.
I got Duke because I'm assuming Cooper Flag will be somewhat healthy enough by this point.
I have Arizona because I'm assuming Cooper Flag hangs it up and focuses on the draft.
I'm going Duke because I think Cooper Flag is looking at this as his only chance to play in March to participate in March Madness. So I think he's the kind of guy that he's not going to shy away from this round of play. And yeah, I think he's gonna play and they're gonna do well.
Before we move on, let me ask you guys this: if Duke says, "Hey, Coop, here's a bag, 12 mil to come back," if you're Cooper Flag, do you entertain that, or do you
No.
just say, "I'm going to the pros regardless"?
I'm going to the pros.
I'm going to the pros regardless because your potential to make money outside of your contract is so much bigger wherever he is in the NBA versus being at Duke.
Right, and you would be 1 year closer to that max contract that your organization would be able to offer you. And so like you want to get to that first max as early in your career as you can, and then so you can, sign another max. And then, some players, they've worked themselves into a position where they can sign, 3 max contracts in their career, and it's like, holy shit, that's really impressive, if not more.
Yeah,
So he could be that guy.
Yeah, a name that pops up to me is Harrison Barnes. Guy that should have gone but stayed at UNC, and his draft stock dropped. He was supposed to go I think number 1 during that time, and number 1, number 2, and he ended up going I think 8.
He was the first player I remember that I can't remember if it was All American or All Conference, but he was preseason All Conference before he ever played a game.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
So yeah, shout out HB.
Yeah. Well, we got Duke moving out of that. So we got BYU, Alabama.
Rob, who do you got in this one?
I'm gonna roll Tide on this one. The offense is looking great. They're like we said earlier, they're among I think the top 5 in points scored. So whenever that offense is flowing, it's flowing, and roll Tide.
AJ, I think you and me might be on the same page here.
Y'all are going BYU. I'm just
no.
gonna go ahead and
I
pick
think
it.
this is when BYU hits the wall.
See, I picked BYU.
Well, I think this reason why I think BYU hits the wall is because just the Big 12 tournament said a lot for me about BYU. Yes, they can score 98 points, but then when you turn around and go up against a team like Houston, which I put Bama and Houston on that same tier, the game drastically changes. And I think they may have gotten to 60 points or so that next game.
It was never close.
It was never close. So that's why I feel BYU's run just stops at the Sweet 16.
No, I do have them beating St. Mary's, so the equation may change if it were Alabama.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Sorry, James.
No, I mean, it happens.
overruled.
Hey, we've it's happened to all of us at a certain point. That's why it's a consensus, and I think the bracket is not going to be one of ours. It's going to be a creation of all of us. So,
Oh yeah.
we got Houston McNeese up next.
This is a fun regional Sweet 16 game.
Give me Houston.
McNeese is in Lake Charles, right?
Sure.
I have no idea.
It's in Louisiana. I know that, but
There we go. Cool. I didn't know that.
yeah, not that matters. Give me Houston.
Yeah,
Thought it was outside of
Houston.
McNeese Tech.
Yeah. H10 on this one. Absolutely. Okay. We got Illinois, Tennessee.
Give me
They're the
Tennessee.
only 10 I see.
I still don't trust Rick Barnes, but I think he pulls this one out.
Yeah. I think Tennessee, they've had some impressive wins throughout the year, so I think Yeah, Tennessee. I'm
Also,
liking them as well.
Tennessee has some really dope warm ups. Those white and orange pants. Those things are cool. The
Creamsicles.
creamsicle. Those things are dope.
All right, and we are moving on to some Elite Eight.
This is when it gets tough, man. This is when it gets
Separates
really
the
tough for me.
awkwardly feminine from the possibly Canadian.
All right, we got Auburn, Michigan State.
This is where I run out of trust for Bruce Pearl. I think Auburn's the better team, but I think Michigan State wins the game.
I don't know. I know the momentum is probably with Michigan State because they've won or Auburn's lost 3 out of the last 4 games, even though they've been against pretty solid teams. But man, Auburn's going to have the best player on the court for that game, and it's tough for me to think that Broom doesn't just munch. So I'm thinking that it's going to be Auburn in a close one.
I'm going to go with Auburn, but it also wouldn't surprise me if Michigan State beats Auburn. It's one of those like it could go either way. I need to know. We need to know more before we, kind of get there. But at this glance, in this day and age, right now, give me Auburn.
I look at Bruce Pearl kind of like you would. I think AJ look at Rick Barnes. Like, we know they're a great coach, but there's something there that I just in this spot, Final Four, Elite Eight, I just don't trust. And Tom Izzo is the literal exact opposite of that. So,
Right.
Yep.
Well, I just think it's going to be less about. I don't know. I think it's going to be more about team execution. I just like how that Auburn team is built. They're built around a 6'10" versatile forward. They got multiple guys that are putting up double figures, shooting beyond 40% from the field. It's like they don't have any problems. And sure, like towards the end of the season, they weren't playing amazing, but man, they're the number one team in the nation for a reason.
Yeah.
They're pretty complete.
and even after losing 3 out of 4, they're still the number 1 team in the nation. So, I mean,
Right.
They're a tough out. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could go either way, but for our sake,
Sounds like
Auburn's
we got
going
Auburn.
to San Antonio.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. All right. And we've got Florida, Texas Tech.
Give me shit.
Psych!
Give me Texas Tech to beat Florida, dog. Texas Tech going to San Antonio.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of agree.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Tech as well. I think that if there was a number 1 seed to get knocked off, I think it's going to be Florida, even if they're really hot. And by this time in the tournament, our guys, I think we're going to be, feeling a little bit better. We're going to be gelling a little bit more. Hopefully, not feeling as banged up. But
If JT Toppin at this point is averaging 26 a game, yeah, we're cooking.
I think this is just where Florida's road catches up with them. They're the toughest 1 seed draw that in the field.
We all
Man.
know about Old Town roads. So
And Texas Tech has been a bit of a bugaboo for Florida over the past decade on the basketball floor. So wouldn't be the
you're not
first time
wrong.
they ended their season.
You're not wrong. All right, we got Duke, Bama.
Duke.
Give me those Duke Ellingtons.
yeah, give me Duke. Give me Duke.
Yeah, that's a big old Dookie in the booth, baby. All right, we got Houston, Tennessee.
Give me Cougs.
H-Town. Hold it
Cougs.
down.
I was actually feeling Tennessee a little bit on this one. I do like H-Town. I just think that Juwan Roberts, his injury, if he's not fully healthy and able to help stretch the floor, I think that this could be a team that if they're not at 100%, they could get beat on this night. Tennessee has proven that they can beat, guys like Auburn, like really, really top performing teams, and even when they lose, it's close. So I was slightly leaning Tennessee, but I think Houston's a pretty safe pick too.
I just think defense is slightly better at Houston, and Kelvin Sampson might be a wizard.
Yeah, you're not wrong. They've been
Yeah.
so good recently in recent years. It's hard to bet against them.
He's just got that program so just rolling to a level that I didn't think he could, even when they made the move.
Yeah. I mean, one national championship, so
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So we're looking at the San Antonio games now. We're looking at
Welcome to the
Auburn.
Dome.
Auburn, Texas Tech.
all right, this is where I'm going to get off the bandwagon and I'm going to be real and I'm going to choose Texas Tech.
I got Auburn. I think it's just too much length for Tech. I think if it is Auburn, I have the Tigers. Now, if it's Michigan State, things could get interesting. But yeah, give me Auburn.
Yeah. I think Auburn is just going to be too much for us to deal with. Yeah. Auburn making
It's a close
it.
game, but yeah.
But I do think that in San Antonio for that game, it's going to be a solid Red Raider crowd. Like, I don't think it's going to be any question that we will have home court advantage. And you have, let's call it 40,000 or 30,000 drunk Texas Tech fans in the Alamo Dome yelling Raider power. And the more drunk they get, the longer that Raider power gets. So it goes from Raider power, like Raider power, Raider power. And then by like the middle of the second half, it's like
You always know how drunk someone is by how they slur their R's. But no, did y'all know that Chad Baker Mazzara on Auburn's team, he is in the same high school class as Zion Williamson, who's in his
Really?
6th NBA season.
That is crazy.
Seeing that a lot now. One thing I didn't look up, and I'm really curious now. Who's the oldest team in this tournament? Who has the
I think
average
it's
age
Auburn.
of like? Is it Auburn? Yeah, the average age of 22, 23 or whatever it is. So
You can lean on that experience.
yeah, you can like a cholo.
Yep. Lean. All right. So we got Auburn in the final, and we got Duke Houston.
Give me the Cougs.
Give me the Cougs, man.
I was slightly leaning towards the Dukies, but yeah, it's Houston. Definitely not a bad choice either.
I do think that I also think that crowd would be mostly Houston fans too.
You're not
Yeah.
wrong.
I
Yeah,
mean, there's a University of Houston building within steps of the Alamo Dome. I could hit
Yeah,
with
there
a
is.
baseball.
Yeah.
yeah, you're gonna have a lot of support for sure. I still feel like that's gonna be a moment where Cooper Flag, if he's ready, he's not gonna shy away from that. So I think, man, it's hard for me to look past Duke, but we got Auburn and Houston in the final.
Who?
H-Town.
Yeah, give me Houston again.
Yeah, they're my champion here. So give me the Cougs.
I was leaning Auburn, but I guess we're going Houston.
Well, I mean, they're the top two teams in the entire year. So, like,
Yeah.
like the entire year, it's always been Houston, it's been Auburn, it's been Houston, it's been Auburn. It's really just a toss up on which week we're going through. You can go either way. I mean, the one thing that I'm really, really concerned about with Auburn is how annoying Charles Barkley is going to be if they make this run, and how he's just going to be just so hardcore Auburn. And I totally get it. I love my school too, but it's going to be just a lot to deal with from
And we're gonna have to deal with the San Antonio jokes on top of it.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's gonna be terrible. Oh my God. But yeah, all right. So we got Houston. We got Houston winning in San Antonio. So how many points do we feel like are going to be in the final?
Give me
157.
69. So yeah,
157.
I think I literally just said 158 or 56, but yeah, 157.
Yeah, 157. We'll split it right down the middle. All right, boom.
So there you have it. The bums pick the University of Houston Screwston Cougars.
The
I
bracket
need to
has
get a
been
shower
set.
after that.
Yeah, really.
Gross.
That was completely filthy. I feel like none of us really were fully represented in this bracket, but at the same time, it's a collection of all of us. So
Yes.
so we gotta love it, and we got the Red
I mean,
Raiders
if
going
Houston-
far. So it's
if Houston wins the title in San Antonio, I'm gonna need a shower. I'll feel gross. Like,
Right.
It's going to be very humid. Be super
Yeah.
humid that day
Absolutely.
in March or April 7th. But regardless, I'm excited to do it. I'm excited for the games to be in San Antonio. Again, just like we talked about last episode, this is the last time until we can get Project Marvel off the ground. We're not going to see another Final Four, men's or women's, until we get our shit together with the Alamo Dome and our facilities. So, with that being said, go vote and vote yes on Project Marvel. We need it. This is fun. This brings a lot of money to the economy of San Antonio. This brings a lot of money to your small businesses in San Antonio. Imagine if you're able to open up a shop during this time. If you have a shop downtown or a restaurant downtown and you have all these tourists coming in for a good solid weekend, dude, and then all of a sudden, because what happens when people come to San Antonio? They fucking love it. They come back all the time. So let's go ahead and build that facility. Let's make this super nice and get more of these tournaments in there. So
yeah.
Hard to argue.
done.
Yeah, I could not agree more. Yeah, support Project Marvel. But guys, that's been a great episode. And if you're still listening to us thus far, we appreciate you. This podcast would not be the same without you, without all your likes, without all the comments and supports, all of the viewership. We are nothing but appreciative. The community is absolutely amazing, not only right here on YouTube, but TikTok and Instagram, Apple Podcast, everywhere where you're listening to this. We appreciate every single listen and all of the interaction. So thank you so much. And yeah, guys, that was a lot of March Madness talk. We made it through the whole bracket.
We are coming for you, Rudy and Mike and Jose and whoever wants the smoke. We are going to win this. I am very confident in our picks. I am confident in what we do. And I think I can collectively say, Bubba Cunnington, you just got dunked on too, because that guy sucks.
AJ, I thought you were going to
deserve a
go full on Booker T, Hulk Hogan. We ready for you?
Oh, I can't say that.
No, I know. I was scared for a
Canceled
second.
immediately. No, but
Absolutely.
we coming.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's going to be some good, healthy competition. But guys, yeah, that's been a good episode. So let's sign off and end this episode the same way we do all episodes, and that's with a go, a Spurs, a go.